Welcome back to True Cybercrimes. I'm Chris.
Hey, Chris, and this is Nick. Um, First, before we kind of get into our topic today, I wanted to share something very, very kind of, I think, appropriate. We're going to be talking about some fishing today, and kind of goes into fishing in general, right? The
Sure.
star fishing stuff. Anyway, we usually see these come as like texts or emails, right? And just this morning, I had an email forwarded to me from my marketing department that was looked like an inbound lead that came in through our website. And marketing was like, "Yeah, I'm not, the way this is kind of worded, not sure how you want to handle this, or pass it off to one of the sales team." And so I started looking at it, and the profile of the business was within what we would entertain and look
Yeah.
at as a potential client prospect for sure. And of course, anybody providing an inbound lead and saying, "Hey, reach out to us, we might want to buy something,"
Go get it.
that's
Yeah.
honey for a sales organization, right? And so as I'm looking through it, I something didn't feel right, and maybe it's just my spidey sense because I've spent so long in
Years of
cybersecurity.
security.
Yeah, but so I did some Googling, and sure enough, the organization that was being referred to in this form that got submitted through our website was legit. But as I started looking, and the information they gave, I don't know if it was the email address that it came from or the website to go and get more information about this RFP opportunity or whatever it was subtly different. It was not the correct.
Mm,
And so then I did a little bit more snooping, and of course, there are some indications that this is a scam that's going around. But what I found was the most interesting thing about this is I hadn't seen one come in. So they went out to our website,
yeah.
put the information in as, "Hey, we'd like you more information," and then provided their website to go out to start, I would assume, filling out information and then getting us, pulled into that web. So very different from an email or a text or
Yeah.
even a phone call. So it's kind
The
of interesting.
the tools and techniques are just getting so sophisticated. So then
Yeah.
I have my own little story that I got to share. You made me think of it a few years ago when I was using LinkedIn and I was pounding on prospective customers. One of them replied to me. And it was just on LinkedIn. It was just, "Hi, Chris," which was kind of weird. And I was like, "Hi, Jim or Bob or whoever it was." And he said,
Yeah.
"Do you have Amazon?" I'm like, "Well, this is really weird." And I said, I'm not quite following. So, and this is on LinkedIn, he's responding to me. And he comes
Yeah.
back and says, "It's my niece's birthday. I need to get her a gift card. Would you send?" And I'm like, "You have got to be kidding me." This guy's LinkedIn. And I had his email too. So I'd write, as the subject, "Please read this." And I snapped it and I sent it in there and I sent it to the guy, with "Hey, this just came to me." And he just replies back, "Yeah, they got me." That was it. And I never heard from the guy ever again. But
Dang,
to do it to do it through LinkedIn, he at least should have talked to me to see if he could have used my
right.
services. But
Yeah, right.
yeah,
At least, hey, thanks for doing me the solid. Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes.
yeah, who knows? Maybe they stole his email account too, and they didn't want me to call him, so they were,
Yeah, that could be. That could be
interesting.
funny.
But anyway, so here we are back to another podcast. So Nick, I want you to imagine you're at work. It's a busy Tuesday. Phone rings. The caller ID says IT service desk. You pick up, and the guy on the other side sounds nice. He's professional. He knows your name. He knows your employee ID, and he says, "There's a glitch in your Okta login that needs a quick fix."
And I mean, if it's a service desk, I'm probably relieved. I don't like IT issues. Who does?
Yeah,
Um,
right.
I mean, if I'm not me, who's been doing cyber for a decade, I'd likely, go do whatever he asked me to do to get back to my, actual job.
Yeah, and you need my credit card information too? Yes, of course.
Maybe.
and, and that's right. There is a fatal flaw. You just let a wolf into the front door because he had a polite voice and a local area code. And today we're talking about phishing, voice phishing. It's the oldest trick in the book, but in 2026, it's become the most dangerous weapon in a hacker's arsenal.
Yeah, and this is so crazy, Chris. I mean, we we collectively worldwide spend billions of dollars on firewalls, use AI-driven threat detection, encrypted servers, and then the weakest link in that entire chain is still you and me, right? Humans that are, answering a phone call.
And then some clown, or at least that's what they called me when I accidentally clicked on the button, lets them in. But
Yeah.
um, but today we're telling the story of Scattered Spider, who we've spoken about before, a group of mostly English-speaking teenagers and young adults who didn't use zero-day exploits or complex malware to take down some of the biggest companies on earth. They just used the telephone and a really good script.
So before we get into the Vegas drama, let's break down, phishing. Again, that's a V for voice phishing for our listeners. So how is this different from the extended car warranty calls that we all get?
So phishing is the surgical version of the robocalls. Standard phishing email might be sent to 10,000 people hoping one clicks. A phishing attack is a spear attack. The attacker does reconnaissance first. They found out, who you are, Nick. They found out your employee number. They went to your LinkedIn. They see you're a junior admin at MGM. They find your phone number through the previous data leaks, maybe AT&T or Ledger leaks from years ago.
So when they call, they aren't guessing. In hacker speak, they're pre-texting. They've got a pre-context for how they're going to handle this Vish or this voice call.
Precisely. Pretexting is the art of creating a fabricated scenario. They aren't just calling from IT, they're calling about the ticket you submitted 3 days ago regarding the VPN latency. It's specific, it's credible. And in 2020, it's often AI enhanced, like
Yeah,
everything else.
that's the scary part. We're seeing voice cloning. If a hacker can get 30 seconds of your boss's voice off of a YouTube video or webinar, they can deep fake and make you think it's your boss. And I did this as a presentation. I created a presentation a couple of years ago on voice cloning, and I demonstrated in 5 minutes I could sign up for a voice clone service, put in my credit card and spend the $5 for the first month, talk to it for 30 seconds or upload 30 seconds of voice from anywhere that I wanted to take it from, a podcast, and type in the message that I wanted to say in my voice. And within 5 minutes, I signed up, paid, cloned a voice, gave it language, and output a full script that sounded close enough to my voice that it would probably fool my parents.
Wow. Yeah, and that was how many years ago?
That was like 2 years ago. That was like 2024.
So has the technology gotten that much better that now it might fool your wife and kids? It's just, it's going.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, but crazy. So let's talk about the group that perfected this, Scattered Spider, the teenagers. They go by many names in the security community. UNC 3944, Muddle Libra, Octopus, but whatever you call them, they're a nightmare. Unlike the Russian groups we talked about last week, we operate like corporations. Scattered Spider is a loose collective. They're part of a broader underground ecosystem called the COM.
The calm. I feel like I'm watching Cyberpunk or some weird, science fiction movie.
Well, and that's probably how they came up with it. It's a subculture
Yeah.
of young English-speaking hackers who hang out on Telegram and Discord, and they don't have a headquarters. They just have a shared talent for social engineering. They're digital natives. They grew up playing Xbox Live. They know exactly how to manipulate people over a headset. I mean, they're the real deal at 16.
And they're fast. They don't spend months, living off the land in a network. They get in, steal what they want. If they get caught, they, just burn the house out.
Yep. And September 2023, Las Vegas. This is where Scattered Spider became a household name. In the span of a few weeks, they hit two biggest names on the strip: Caesars Entertainment and MGM Resorts.
But the way these two companies handled the attack couldn't have been more different. It's like kind of a choose your own adventure book for CEOs.
Let's start with Caesars. Scattered Spider targeted one of Caesars' outside IT vendors. They vished an employee at the vendor's help desk, got into the network, and stole a massive amount of loyalty program data. We're talking about the private info of the highest rolling gamblers in the world.
And it's Caesars. They pay.
Yeah, right. They did, quietly. They reportedly paid $15 million, half of what the hackers originally asked for. They took the business decision, paid the money to get the keys, kept the slot machine spinning. Most people didn't even know what happened until weeks later.
I mean, I know you never pay the ransom, but there's something to be said for, no blips, right? And everybody just kind of going on about their days. All right. So what about MGM?
And you wonder if MGM wouldn't have been hit if we would have known about Caesars, but MGM was a different story. The attackers began with a 10-minute phone call. A Scattered Spider member found an MGM employee info on LinkedIn, called the IT help desk, and convinced them to reset the employee's MFA, multi-factor authentication.
So let me get this straight. One phone call to the help desk ended up taking out a multi-billion-dollar company.
That's all it took. Once they were, yeah. Once all that security they paid for, all the people that were trained, but yeah, once they were in, they moved like a virus. They got into the Okta servers and the Azure environment. When MGM security team realized what was happening, they tried to shut it down, but the hackers were already too deep.
Yeah, and in this case, unlike Caesars, MGM just refused to pay.
Yep. They stood their ground, and the result was chaos. For 10 days, MGM was a ghost of its former self. Digital room keys stopped working. People were locked out of their hotel rooms. I mean, that happens enough in Vegas just from the drinking and gambling than from hackers. But slot machines went dark. The website was down. No reservations, no nothing. Employees were literally writing out hotel vouchers by hand.
I actually remember when this happened, there was a job posting that went up from MGM where they were looking for like Linux, power users to, come in and work like 20-hour days to restore and rebuild their servers until it was completed. And like they were literally not gonna pay. They were just trying to find somebody to come and stand the environment back up. It's estimated that they lost $100 million in revenue, plus, and that's just the revenue, right?
Yeah.
Plus the cost of the cleanup, which to my previous comment of finding these experts who can come and literally rebuild all of their server infrastructure from scratch, that's not going to come cheap. And all of this because of a maybe 10-minute phone call.
Maybe that $15 million that Caesar paid was a bargain.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say, and then there's the reputational damage, but I think anymore, we've all got such short memories. And let's face it, who people in Vegas a week later are probably like going right back into MGM and pulling the slots and throwing dice and all that. So,
Agreed.
So who are these guys? These kids from the comm, right? Surely they've been caught by now?
Some have. We're starting to see names emerge. There's a character who goes by Ray. reportedly the technical operator and public face of a new alliance called Scattered Lapis Hunters. Okay.
All right.
Nick Reyes, like are they from Star Wars? I guess Reyes from Star Wars. I don't know. These guys love pop culture. Ray was recently tracked down by Brian Curbs, the legendary investigative journalist. Curbs actually contacted Ray's father.
Wait, so Brian Krebs went and he called the dad of the cyber terrorist. That's awesome. I love that.
Basically, it turns out many of these high-level scattered spider members are in their late teens or early 20s, living in the UK or the US. There was about 17-year-olds in the UK arrested recently in connection with the MGM hack.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird contrast. On the one hand, you can bypass the most expensive security in the world. On the other, they're living in their childhood bedrooms, bragging about these scores that they're making on Telegram channels. And as we should probably all anticipate, the FBI was listening.
Sure. And it didn't stop in Vegas. These guys are evolving. Have you heard about the retool breach?
I heard it had to it involved Google Authenticator, but I don't think I know the details.
This is a Vishing 2.0. The hackers called a retool employee pretending to be IT. They told him they were migrating to a new system and they needed him to click a link. And guess what? He did.
Well, they probably had multi-factor authentication, right? That he had to
Yeah.
provide.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I know where this is going, but MFA, that's supposed to be the gold standard, right? We have that, and we protect most of what we're doing theoretically.
Well, the hackers actually voice cloned an IT staff member during the call to build trust. But here was the pro move. Google Authenticator had recently added a feature that syncs your MFA codes to the cloud. The hackers knew this.
So once they got into his Google account, they also had all of his MFA codes.
Every single one. They bypassed MFA without ever having to ask a guy for a code. They stole 15 million in cryptocurrency from one retool customer shortly after.
I gotta wonder who at Google thought that was a good idea to to put up all of the MFA. Like, hey, this is going to be great. We're going to make your MFA codes available from everywhere. The whole point of MFA is to just have like a single source that can authenticate it. That just seems like a big miss to me. But
it was.
Yeah, clearly. So Chris, why can't we just tell employees like just don't give out information over the phone?
The hackers are using MFA fatigue. Have you ever had your phone buzz with 50 notifications in a row asking it to log in? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's annoying. You want it to stop.
Exactly. You hit yes. You're sitting at dinner with your wife, you're out with your friends, you just finally hit yes just to make the buzzing stop. And that's what Scattered Spider does. They call you, they keep the pressure on, they sound urgent, and they wear you down.
It's interesting, and I'll say this: having worked with cybersecurity teams, when those things happen, it's actually kind of fun because on a cybersecurity team, you're like, all right, we got one.
Yeah, he's trying to get in.
It's like in Ghostbusters when the first call comes in for a ghost, you're like, this is going to be fun. And like all of a sudden I was getting these weird, kind of getting blown up with MFA approvals at a weird hour. And I reached out to my team, like, guys, something weird's going on. And instantly everybody's like, cool, let's check it out. And but that's a much different tenor when you're just a user at a company and you've got to reach out to an IT team that you might not know and go, something weird's happening and I can't explain it. Like, it's
just so much easier to hit yes.
Majority of people, right? Yeah. So and that's just it. At the end of the day, that is psychological warfare to 99% of the population.
It is. And the most interesting fact, these hackers are often native English speakers. Most of the cybersecurity training we do is designed to spot broken English or weird formatting. When the person on the phone sounds like your neighbor and uses the same corporate slang as you do, your brain turns off its defenses.
Yeah. So, here we are. It's 2026. Where's this going? If I can't trust my own boss's voice on the phone, then what do I do? What's the next step?
Yeah, we're moving towards a zero trust voice model. Some companies are now implementing safe words, or verification links. If I call you and ask for a password reset, you send me a link through a secured internal app that I have to click on to prove that I am who I'm saying I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's back. It's like we're back to the olden days of secret handshakes.
Yeah, basically, we've automated so much of our lives that the only way to stay safe is to reintroduce human friction. We have to be okay with being a little unhelpful to the person on the phone until they can prove their identity. And I think that's the hardest thing is we've been taught, oh, you just got to be helpful, just help them out.
Yeah,
You accommodate. So
general human nature is just like take the friction away, make this easy. Try not to be rude and all that. I mean, I'd say I'm just going to stop answering my phone altogether, but I pretty much already do. If it's important, they'll leave a voicemail, right?
yeah, careful. Well, with AI, they can deep fake your voice too.
Of course.
So Vishing isn't going away. As long as there's humans on the other end of the phone line, there's a way in. The story of MGM and the Scattered Spider isn't just about a hack. It's about the power of the human voice.
A reminder that sometimes the most sophisticated firewall in the world can be defeated by a polite hello.
Thanks for listening to True Cyber Crimes. Next week, we're looking into the insider job. What happens when a company's own employees are the ones holding the matches?
Well, be interesting. Stay safe, stay skeptical, don't be helpful, be a little rude, create a little friction. Maybe, just maybe, hang up the phone.
All right. See you next time, Nick. Thanks.
See you, Chris.